We talking football, X's and O's. Let's go.
Back. We here another week of Bold Prediction Sports Media Podcast, man. We in week 11 of the NFL? Oh my goodness, dude. Time is flying. I'm that dude with the beard, and as always, he's Mr. KC from the 813. And we're here with a special guest today, my boy Frank. He's a Niners fan, so we're gonna keep it cordial. We're gonna keep it all G. You know how we do here. But we are gonna be bold. Mr. KC, how you doing, my man? How's your week going so far?
That dude with the beard. It's going pretty good. I'm working right next to the beach, so I can't really complain this week. I'm 10 feet from the water, so it's always a nice work week when you like that. And I'm excited to have our special guest, Frank, from the Cinema Store podcast, join us and talk a little NFL action this week.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Let's get into it.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, we can dive on into what I call the weekly Jeff Bezos Bowl, the Amazon Prime Bowl of the week. We got the Tennessee Titans versus the Green Bay Packers. And since you are here, Frank, you are the special guest, I will defer to you for this first one. Who do you like going into this game? Why do you like them?
Well, I definitely got to go Tennessee in this game. You got the big man Derrick Henry back there, and Green Bay is giving up 5.1 yards per carry right now to running backs. We are talking this should be another monster game for him, for King Henry. Like, I can't imagine they're going to be able to stop it.
No.
I got to go Tennessee for sure.
No, I got a buddy named Nate who's 100% with you on that. Anything Tennessee, he's riding with you. So you got a fan already. Mr. KC, my man, where are we going with this, man? What are we doing?
Well, that dude with the beard, Frank made up some pretty good points. It's hard to deny King Henry. Look, he's arguably the best running back in the league. If you don't have him as the best, he's top 3. There's no question about it. He's a beast. He's a monster. However, do we not just watch Aaron Rodgers destroy the Cowboys? Like, this is starting to get a little dangerous out here for the Green Bay Packers. That being said, Aaron Rodgers was just showing off for 1 week. And I'm riding with Frank on this pick. I'm going Titans. That dude with the beard, who you picking with this one?
Dude, this is the first ever bold prediction trifecta. I'm totally in agreement. I believe that was a one-off. You took the words right out of my mouth. I told you week 1, Ron, he's ready for a sabbatical. He's not worried about football. He's trying to get back to the forest, to the peyote, and whatever he was sipping to get that enlightenment that he found. Tennessee all day. Like Frank said, run the ball down the throat. I have no faith in the Packers going for the season, honestly.
Tennessee's defense has been showing up the last couple games. They held holding running backs to like 3 yards per carry, and in order for Green Bay to get anything going, they got to run the ball with Jones or Dillon because there is nobody for Rodgers to throw to. Watson had a great game this last week, but can we really see that happening again and again? I just don't see that. Especially with that great D line from Tennessee.
No, I'm there with you. Watson did have a semi breakout game. It wasn't too bad, but can we really count on that to be consistent? Hopefully, this will be the week that he does. Prove us wrong, please, by all means. But I'm right there with you. I got to see it to happen. Any final thoughts on that, Mr. KC?
No, I'm right there with you guys. You look at the defense that Tennessee has. They've been in every game. The only real advantage the Packers have here is it's a Thursday night game at home. So, you're not going anywhere. It's starting to get a little cold, a little colder up there in Green Bay than Tennessee. Those can factor in. But I think this is just a typical Amazon Prime Bowl that nobody really wants to watch, and you feel bad that they paid all that money for this game.
Man, no, you're not lying, but luckily Jeff Bezos got it. Moving on here to Sunday, kickoff, first game of the day, as I like to say here. We have my man Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears versus Marcus Mariota and the Atlanta Falcons, a girl I gave my number to too many times this year. Mr. KC, I'm going to defer to you because I don't even want to talk about them right now. So, what you got for me, my man?
Yeah, this is a real funky game here. You got two really bad teams, and it always gets a little weird when you're playing with two bad teams. First, you got the Bears that are starting to look somewhat decent. Fields is starting to ball out, and the Falcons are starting to kind of slip up a little bit. So I'm going to go with the Bears in this pickup. Two bad teams, but I think the upside's more on the Bears this week. And I like what Justin Fields doing. He's looking like the next Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson type of quarterback, and it's exciting to watch. So with a funky game, I'm going to go with the Bears.
No, I understand. He does have that what I call mobile-esque kind of quarterback play. Frank, my man, who you got going in this one?
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning Bears this week. Justin Fields has just been balling out. He's kind of looking like Lamar Jackson in that 2019 season where he started to have his come out party. It's looking the same for Justin Fields now. They really do need to get him a weapon, like we've seen with a lot of these quarterbacks. Once they get that one weapon that they can actually throw the ball to, then they got to, they step up big time. Josh Allen with Diggs. I mean, we've seen it with everybody, even Hurts with A.J. Brown. The only one who seems like he can't get a bump with having a great wide receiver is Derek Carr with Adams. But Fields has just been running all over the place. I can't see the Falcons beating that,
No, and to complete the trifecta again, I'm there with you on the Bears. The Bears is a team that I was high on early in the season. Atlanta was just like you would say, Mr. KC, with the whole Detroit thing. It was just intoxicating to me. It's just the thought of maybe, but like he said though, I'm Justin Fields run all over the place. He's a product of a great college, great mentorship going on there. Great play so far. I'm definitely going with Chicago. Raymond, I'm there with you. We going with the Bears. Skyler, we going with the Bears. It looks like everybody's in agreement here.
Yeah, it's Bears
no
throughout the whole chat here. Yeah,
yeah, no question about it here. I'm right there with you. Next game we got here, which early on, if this team could have pulled something together, could have been quite the game. Not as scrappy as my Commanders, but we'll get to them soon enough. We got the Carolina Panthers versus the perennial, my man, Mr. Run It Down Your Throat, Lamar Jackson. We were just talking about him. And fellas, I'm going to take the lead on this one. It's Baltimore. If you're thinking anything other than Baltimore, you haven't been watching football lately. Lamar Jackson, I would say, is at not peak form just yet, but he's moved into okay, it's almost time to run away with the North kind of season. So I'm going with Baltimore. Defense is scrappy enough to pull this out against Carolina. Carolina's not really doing anything right now. My man Frank, what you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm definitely going Baltimore. I think that Baltimore defense was kind of starting out slow at the beginning of this year, but getting Roquan at the trade deadline is going to change that whole defense. You got Marlon Humphrey out there he's got to start playing ball now that they have some actual linebacker help, and it's all Baltimore. I think Carolina beating the Falcons last week makes a lot of sense, but I don't see them pulling off a 2-game win streak now. This is it.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, the buck stops here. I'm with you. Yeah. Mr. KC.
You guys didn't hear the news, did you? You didn't hear the news about the Panthers. Baker Mayfield is back to starting. Baker Mayfield is back in the house. Did you not see him do the head button with no helmet on?
Oh, yeah.
Is that in concussion protocol?
Thank you, Frank. That's what I said. I thought you would have been concussed after
that lineup.
So we know for a fact it's Baltimore Ravens winning this game. There's no way Mayfield is pulling this off. He should be in concussion protocol. And the NFL needs to drug test him as well. This is dangerous for himself.
Man, because what sober man headbutts a helmet? I don't know. I've never seen it. Probably never will.
We've gotten 3 for 3 here.
No, it is pretty shocking, but dude, we're at the point in the NFL where, like I said, we kind of see how this thing is shaking out. old soap opera as the world turns. We're seeing what happens right now, you know.
Right.
Next game we got here, we got the Cleveland Browns versus the Buffalo Bills. And because of my deep distaste for the Bills, I'm going to go ahead and let my man Frank go first, and we'll just cycle this baby through. Who you got for this one, Frank?
I see this as a get right game for the Bills after losing last week, losing to the Jets. I see them kind of turning around now. It is going to be interesting to see. There's supposed to be 3 to 6 feet of snow during this
Yeah.
game. So that does have a factor.
Ooh.
Should make it a little easier for Nick Chubb to be running around out there for the Browns. But until they get Deshaun Watson back, I can't see the Browns beating the Bills. And this seems just like a get right game. You know,
No,
get
I
yourself
can feel
together
you.
for the Bills.
I can feel you on that. We definitely going to see. Mr. KC, what we got?
Well, this is one of those wild games because, as our man Frank here just mentioned, this is going to be a snowmageddon kind of game. And these are always kind of fun to watch,
They are.
especially for me when I know it's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow. And I'm watching 3 feet of snow and whatnot. It always kind of blows my mind. Um, but with that said, this is a tough game because the Browns have Chubb and Hunt. They have two excellent
Mm-mm.
running backs, and both of them are better than Singletary, either one of them. There's more advantage to the Bills' run game. That being said, there'll still be limited passes thrown, and in that situation, you still have Josh Allen. And for that reason, I'm going to lean towards the Bills. I can't imagine them keep sliding. They went from first to sixth in the division, and it could just keep going down from here. You know, they're in third place looking out. Can they still get a wild card spot? I don't think they get past the Miami Dolphins. I think they've lost the East already. So this is really they if they lose this game, they're in trouble. So I think they do what they need to do and win this game. That dude with the beard, give us this bold prediction.
Because you know it's coming. Cleveland
I
is going
know it
to
is.
win this game, man. The build, yes, the slide you're talking about is happening. I've been saying it for weeks. Like I said, apparently me and only Nick Wright see it. Roller coaster Allen, and they're still the Buffalo Bills. Like, what are we talking about? It's like, unless I haven't been alive the last few years, they haven't done anything to warrant me saying, "Oh man, yeah, they're the guys. They're going to be the ones." Like, no. Like they're gonna get the ball ran down their throat in that snowy weather. I believe Cleveland is gonna pull out another win, and it's just gonna continue to show that Buffalo is not the team, not the August champions that mainstream media was ready to paint them. I have Cleveland all day in this one. It can even be a gritty game. I got 28-17 Cleveland running it down their throat.
I mean, it makes sense too. If it's a game to where you can only run, this is the game for it too, which
Yeah.
gives the Browns some advantage.
Yes, sir. We're going Cleveland. I like it. We're gonna see it, and you trust me. Uh, you'll get a live reaction, folks. You know how I get down. I'm gonna be watching. Trust me. Next game we got on the slate, my boys, the Washington Commanders versus the Houston Texans, and this is a game for the Commanders. They're riding high right now. They know that they're, like I said, we talked about it before, Ms. Case. I said I believe they're probably the best subpar 500 team. We were talking about it, dude. Like
They
they
are.
are really scrappy. Like they come to play every week. Like you literally have to beat the Commanders. I give them that much respect, and I don't think Texans are ready to do that. I don't think they have enough on either side of the ball to really make this a contest. But it is the NFL any given Sunday. We'll see. But I'm going with the Commanders. Mr. KC, what you got going into this?
Well, for this Division III football matchup, I plan on picking the Houston Texans, and I'll tell you why.
Ooh,
I'll tell you why. Both of these
please.
are scrappy teams. There's no doubt that the Washington Commanders are on upset alert, especially after the Eagles game. Huge win, biggest win, the biggest probably upset of the league so far. You know, this was
Almost.
unexpected. You know, isn't excited to
Unless you
see.
was here with bold predictions because we
Right.
expected it.
Yeah, it was cold. But I'm still thinking the Texans are going to be the upset team here. They've also played teams tougher than they should have, just like the Commanders. And I think the Commanders might have their chest out and overlook this game just because it is the Texans. So I think this might be my little upset of the week that I my dollars on, and let me go Texans.
Look, man.
Or do Frank, what you
Yeah.
thinking on this
Hey.
game?
Right,
I'm
please.
definitely leaning Commanders here. You got to go with the Commanders in this. Heineke is a winner. He's kind of showing out that he can play ball. Like
No
he's
lies.
there. I think we're also going to get Chase Young back for this game, which is
yeah.
huge for that Washington Commanders
yeah.
defense. He
Change
should
the
be
game.
able to get to Mills all day because Chase Young can ball,
He's that
and I'm
guy.
great to
Yeah,
see him back.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm there with you 100%. I don't think they're too boastful. They just got to 500, Mr. Casey.
Mhm.
I just, in their mind, they have a shot, wild card or something.
They
So,
kind of do.
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? It's kind of open, man. So, dude, I'd love to see it. I think it can be a great game. But me and Frank, we're on the same page with that. We're going Washington for sure.
Yeah, just real quick before we switch to the next game, I still have no idea why the Commanders at the beginning of this season thought the right move was to trade for Carson Wentz when you literally have the same guy already on your team. I'm sure you guys covered this at some point, but it made zero sense to me when I saw that trade. Heineke is just the same player, but with more energy.
Man,
Like,
I think, and he's arguably more mobile and not a sloppy
Yeah.
run. When Carson Wentz moves, he reminds me of Paul Pierce on the basketball court. It's all over the place. You don't really want to see it. And you're
Yeah.
right. We talked about it a little bit, and only a little bit because it's Carson Wentz. Nobody wants to talk about Carson Wentz. This is a guy, like I said, he wouldn't be a champion if it wasn't for Nick Foles. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, he had a great year that year, but he's never been anything. And for the Commanders to trade for a guy that is just Heineke but injury prone, what was the point? What was the point but to waste draft picks? You know,
And money.
So
and
money and a lot of money.
Well, at least they found out the right way. Heineke, at least they can have some save a little face. Heineke playing the way he's playing now.
That's what happens when you
Heineke-
think you're just a quarterback away, though. You reach for that one guy that you think can be that guy, and it usually never works out.
You just thought it right.
Heineke just kind of seems like the
Carson
Garoppolo of the NFC East. Like, it doesn't look good. You don't really want him as your quarterback. Boy will play ball and win you a game. Like, he's gonna win.
Yeah,
It might not
that's
be
what I'm
him,
saying.
but they're gonna win.
No, for sure. No, I put respect on them guys, man. No, because you need, like I said, if you don't have an elite, you need a guy like that. Here is, I call it the Fitzpatrick brand of football. You need a guy who you know can go out there and get it. Might get you on a win streak. Next we got here, high noon game, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Indianapolis Colts. And Mr. KC, I see Stern. What you got, man? What's on your mind?
Can we talk about these Colts for just a moment? Bring in a rookie coach that's coached a couple high school games Saturday, talking about he's an old lineman. He's not even like an old quarterback or running back or a star defensive player. It's nice to
center.
see him get the opportunity.
Right.
You know, I like to see him do that. But I'm going to go with Philly here. They have the better team, better coaching experience. They've already got that loss that they needed to get out of the way. And I think they continue to fly. I'm big on the Eagles this year, and I think it continues.
Okay. I'm hearing you. Frank, what you got for me?
I'm also going Eagles. Jeff Saturday, head coach in the Colts, and getting them a win against the Raiders is fantastic. But I think you could take me out there with a Madden playbook, and I'll probably still get a win against that Raiders defense because they have been awful this year. So I have to lean towards the Eagles. It's got to be Eagles. Bounce back, Bad loss against the Commanders. That was a trap game for them, and now they're going to come back and show why they're the Eagles.
Man. It's crazy because I'm going with the Colts. Maybe I'm not.
No.
Maybe I need to wipe my eyes or something and see what's going on because I just, like I said, the last few weeks, I've always given Philadelphia their respect because they were undefeated. But when you look back and see why they're undefeated, it's it's not impressive. I mean, just to call it how it is. I mean, we were talking about 3 or 4 other teams that we know are arguably better than them, but record wise, we can't officially say they are. But I think the Colts really have a chance to win this game. I think last week was kind of a check to the Eagles, not ego, but to see how they could rise to the occasion against somebody who's really coming to play. And the Colts are another scrappy team just out the AFC, like I said, who are in a lot of games, who already beat the Chiefs. I mean, if we got to really talk about it, if you can beat the Chiefs, I'm sure you can beat the Eagles. So I'm going to go with the Colts in this one. This can be my upset alert for the week. Whatever we got to do, hit the alarm. But no, I'm going with Indianapolis. Your boy Matty Ice is back. Jeff Saturday woke up and said, I don't know what the last dude was talking about. Well, we about to get Matt Ryan back in here. I think this thing might keep rolling just off the Saturday hype. I think it's enough to get them at least probably 2 straight wins, if not a third.
Make sure you go to Kansas and donate money to the casino on that one.
Hey, they thought I donated some money on the Commanders last week. All right now. Okay. Next game we got here, which is could turn out to be a scrappy game because this division is kind of opening up. It's the AFC East, baby. We got the New York Football Jets against the New England Patriots, and I'm gonna go ahead and go with Frank on this one here. What you got for me?
This is the only game that I looked at through the schedule and was like, I really have no idea who's going to win this game. If Sauce Gardner can keep getting away with his defensive pass interference plays, then they'll definitely be able to keep Jacoby Myers in check, which will help that team. I just always have a hard time seeing Belichick lose to the Jets. It's hard to think that he's going to do that. So I'm leaning Pats in this game. Look for a big game from Ramondre. I think he can step up. The Jets do have a great defensive line to stop the run, but I'm still leaning Pats.
I hear you on that. And as somebody who picked the Pats in the beginning of the season to win the AFC East, my soul is reaching out almost through the screen to yours because I feel you so deep on that pick. But I'm going with the Jets. I've been saying all year New York football is back. I don't think it's going to stop now. I think Belichick's lose to the Jets because I had him pegged to beat so many teams because it's Belichick. It's Belichick. He can't lose to them. I'm giving him the same benefit of doubt I gave my boy Pete Carroll. Like, boy, I put anybody back here and get it done. Just hasn't been the case. They 5-4 now. Like I said, it's kind of open, but I think the Jets moved 7-3 this weekend. What about you, Mr. Casey?
Yeah, I was right there with Frank. This is a funky one to pick. Just because you have Bill Belichick's history with the Jets, too. This is a team he enjoys beating. But the Jets are on the roll, and I'm liking Zach Wilson this year, even though he's not really living up to all the hype. I just like his style, He likes his mom's friends, so how do you not like that? So I think the Jets are going to try to stay in the contention. They're right there with the Dolphins and the Bills trying to compete in the East. And this is really one of those kind of games that's going to decide it for both teams. If they want a chance to make the playoffs, both of them need a win here. So I'm going to go with the Jets, who've been a little hotter than the Patriots.
See, I'm like I said, I'm right there with you. I'm a thorough believer that football is better when all New York teams are better. And I'm glad to see that the 2 teams that are close to New York are kind of struggling. Buffalo and New England. I kind of like to see it, but, hey, we're going to do what we do here.
Those 2 New Jersey teams have been great this year.
No, I
only
got
ones
you.
They called it from New York, right?
There's one team in New York now.
Hey, look, if you name New York, I'm gonna call it New York. We going Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali on that one. Hey,
I'm a Niner fan, and they're called the San Francisco 49ers, and they play in Santa Clara.
Right.
So
exactly, right, exactly. No,
I
got you. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Next we got here, man. You want to talk about battle of underwhelming teams here? We got the LA Rams versus the New Orleans Saints. And I'll let y'all decide who want to take that one. It's a bum bowl. So I'll go last on this one, man.
I got the Rams in this game. The Saints are awful. Their best offensive weapon is definitely Kamara, and he's going to have to go against an Aaron Donald-led D-line. I don't see Dalton stepping up, and maybe Ramsey can show why he's the most overrated corner in the game.
Oh my god!
And can do something in this one. I think Stafford's coming back from concussion protocol. He was out last game. He should be playing against the Saints, and their defense hasn't been anything. It should be interesting to see what happens without Cooper Kupp in this. Maybe Allen Robinson can start showing up. But I'm going Rams. I got to go Rams over Saints in this one.
I feel you on that because it seems to be the pick to have, honestly. Mr. KC, what we got on this one?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, that dude with the beard. This is an ugly game to be trying to predict. Both teams are terrible. I'm actually going to go the Saints here. I think the Rams are starting to kind of fold it up for the season. They've kind of realized that this ain't it. Whatever recipe to run it back was not there. I think they thought they can bring in the same team. You know, it's what they try to do, and nobody can stay healthy. And I think the Saints have a little bit more going for them, so I'm going to lean with the Saints. But this is an ugly game. I'd keep my money in my pocket for this one.
Yeah. Rams shouldn't have even been a Super Bowl champion last year. Yeah. Niners should have had that pick. Game over. You know, then we're looking at
we know the
Niners,
real Super Bowl. It should have been KC 49ers. We said, no, LA's got to make that money, and we need a guy that we know they can actually beat. We can't think there's not a way in the world we know they're going to beat the Chiefs in Cincinnati. We know what happened. I'm right there with you though. I picked the Rams to win the division early in the season, and that's clearly not going to happen for them at this point. But I do believe that they are the better team going against head-to-head to New Orleans. They are getting a few key pieces back. If for some reason Matthew Stafford can end his obsession with not throwing the ball to Allen Robinson, maybe they can get some stuff going because, like I said, maybe this will force him to do it. Like I said, because if Cooper's out there, you know where the ball's going. He's not looking nowhere else. There's no Odell. He's throwing it to Cooper Kupp. So hopefully this puts them in a position to make more plays, and hopefully the Rams get a win. So I'm right there with you on that one, Frank. Let's see who we got next on the slate. Ooh, Mr. KC, you might like this one. We got the Detroit Lions versus the New York Giants. What you got for me, my man? Because the world knows where I'm going. What you got for us, man?
Yeah, Frank might not know this, but I've had a unnecessary obsession with the Lions this year. There's nothing but hurt my record. Anytime I try to pick them, they don't win, except for this last week. I picked them this last week. They did win. They're trying to come through to me. They're trying to tease me to pick this
That's
game,
what it is.
but I'm not going to do it. I broke up with the Lions, and I'm going to continue. You know, I had to go back and dip in one more time. You know, and I noticed that I still needed to leave. So I'm gonna stick with the New York Giants on this pick and continue this breakup with the Lions. Hopefully I can do it for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think you need to let her go. Gotta let her go, man. Frank, who you got for me, my man?
Well, you definitely have to go New York Giants in this game. Lions have the worst defense in the NFL and arguably the worst running defense, and they're going against Saquon and even Daniel Jones. I've been seeing his teammates have been calling him Vanilla Vic.
Yes, sir.
I've been seeing that a little bit, and you know they just gave up 176 yards or something to Justin Fields.
Yeah,
they are the worst running defense. I can't see Saquon not having a monster game against them. It's got to be New York Giants all the way on that game. And I am rooting for the sun god Amon-Ra though. That's my boy.
No, he is gold. He's cold.
That's my boy.
But no, the trifecta is complete again. Y'all, the world know. Y'all know I'm going with New York. Like I said, New York football is back. For all the reasons you said, Frank, they got Vanilla Vic, Saquon. It's pretty much over, man. the Lions are going to be the Lions. Just like I said, the Bengals going to bingle. The Lions are going to be the Lions. So we're going to go ahead and just close the chapter on them here. And we have another, what I call the Premier Bum Bowl of this week in NFL action. We got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Denver Broncos, the premier bottom barrel of the AFC West. And Frank, who you got, my man? I'm going right back to you.
I'm going Denver in this game. I gotta go Denver. They have the best point defense in the NFL. Give up the least amount of points. They can't score, which is a shame. But they're also playing the Raiders, who anybody can score on. It seems like. The last time these two teams met, though, was the time I believe the Raiders put up the most points any teams put up against that Denver defense this year. But I still got to go Broncos. That Raider team is just. It's a dumpster fire. It's awful. It's garbage. Like, it's just they can't even fire their head coach, Josh McDaniels, because they owe too much money, and they should have probably fired him after week 3, 4. I was
going to say 3. Yeah,
yeah,
I was going to slide him in, but I want to wait.
Please.
Goodness,
they just can't afford to fire him. Blows my mind. Another team deciding, hey, you know this guy who was an awful head coach somewhere? Let's bring him in and maybe he'll do something.
Maybe he'll do better this time. Like I never understood that myself here.
I don't get it, but I'm definitely going Broncos. I think with such a bad defense on the Raiders, maybe we can finally see Russ Cook for once. But I don't know if he's capable anymore. But we'll see.
Ooh, I would hope so, because I'm definitely going with the Raiders, without a doubt. They ain't the last team they beat, the Broncos. I think they're probably the only team that they can beat. So I'm a firm believer that you use a term like Frank. I toss around almost loosely when I talk about this team because they're a dumpster fire from top to bottom. Like you said, even in Denver, you could fire your coach, you could fire everybody, but you're still going to be trash. You overpaid for a quarterback who's showing you he's nothing without Pete Carroll. Dude, this whole team is a mess, and it's been a mess, and it's just so funny to hear how they thought these two teams was going to be the teams fighting for the West. Oh, it's going to come down to the Raiders and the Broncos. Russ is the guy. He's going to come in and show Pat what da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Stop playing. We're going with the Raiders in this dumpster fire match. Mr. KC, who you got, man?
Oh, this is the brightest fire of the dumpster fire.
That's what I said, the premier dumpster match. It is.
Fun fact about the Broncos. If they'd scored 18 points in every one of their games, they'd be 8-1 right now. 8-1. 18 points. Not a lot of points. You know,
it's enough, I guess.
Chiefs almost average double that, so you would expect a team to be able to get to 18 a few times. That being said, the Raiders are also, what are we supposed to do? We lose to the Colts. You lose to the Colts, you can't beat anybody. I'm going to go with the Broncos. I couldn't believe they lost to the Colts. I just can't pick the Raiders to beat anybody right now. I hate picking the Broncos. I'd rather pick the Raiders here, but this might be the one time Russell Wilson looks good and scores 20 points.
You heard it here first, baby. They're going over the average, 20 points. I wish I could be there with y'all. I believe, like I said, that Denver dumpster fire just seems to burn more potent than that Vegas dumpster. It's a trash. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, dude. It's a junkyard tire fire. It's the Simpson tire. It's a trash. It's a trash can fire thrown into a dumpster fire, thrown into a junkyard fire, and then you put tires around it like in the Simpsons, and it's a tire fire. It's a mess everywhere. Yes, sir, Jesse. Yes, sir. Yeah, bro. Anyway, Broncos.
Hey, real quick, shout out Funky Junkie 91. That's my co-host for the Cinema Store podcast.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes.
Funky Junkie the
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The most accurate description of the night, too.
Yep.
That's why
I'm trying to tell you. We were talking about Mania Fires, but you summed it up to a T, my man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you might be a pyro. We might have to censor this out just for further investigations.
Oh man. Next game we got here, which is probably going to be one of the best games played this weekend. We got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kings in the North, baby. Kirk Cousins on the plane with the chains, my man running the North. And y'all know where I'm going. I'm going with the Kings of the North in this one. Even though I mess with the boys, I mess with that defense, but it's Kirk Cousins, baby. He like I said last week, if Philadelphia lose, they just open the door for Kirk Cousins to take the NFC. And they keep hating on him, and he's probably the move from top 15 to top 10, maybe number 10 now, Mr. Casey. We'll have to talk about it. We got to put some respect on him. I'm going with the Kings of the North. And before we get your take, I'm going to let you stew on that. Frank, what you got for me?
I'm going with the Vikings in this game. I think going against the Bills was like a big win for them. That was a prove-it game, and they proved that they could beat a top team. Cowboys, you lost to the Packers.
That's
like
what
you
I'm
lost
saying.
to the Packers. They are.
Oh.
I can't see the Cowboys. Just every year I got to listen to Cowboys fans, and it's going to be their year and all this. I don't see it. I see the Vikings having this game. Dalvin Cook running all day. I got to go Vikings in this one. I got to go Kirk, and it's not a primetime game, so we know Kirk can actually ball in prime time. So
I'm trying to tell you,
the Vikings win.
No, I'm right there with you here. And then the way Jefferson played last week, dude, we'll see.
Yeah, 190
Mr.
yards.
Going crazy, man.
And that one-handed catch, he was a monster in that
Replace
game.
the Odell. Replace the Odell. In my opinion, I just catch of the century. Shit. I mean, shoot, family show. Catch of the century. Golly.
Well, he pulled that ball away from the corner. He was like, no, this isn't mine.
He said, let me use
corner
your
had
hand.
It with two hands. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Look, let me use your hand to get this completion, fam. I appreciate it.
So,
dude, Mr. KC, man, who you got in this one, man?
This is a tough game for me to pick. I love the Vikings this year, but I've been super high on the Cowboys. That defense is no joke. I was really about to make her and have the upset and go against the Vikings to pick the Cowboys. But our man Frank gave me a friendly reminder that they couldn't even beat the freaking Packers. It just really kind of made me have that double take and stick to your gut stomach. You know, that feeling in your stomach that says pick the Vikings. That's the one I just got in my stomach. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'm right there with you guys. If you can't beat Aaron Rodgers this year, you're not going to beat Kirk Cousins.
The Cowboys let Watson look like Devontae Adams on them.
Oh my God.
Now they're actually going against some talent.
Right.
Now they're talent at wide receiver.
A dude who's probably the third best receiver in football right now. Arguably. Maybe behind only two people I could think of. And both of them play for the Dolphins right now because they're on a historic basis.
And I mean, you got Thielen there, who's also pretty good. And it's another week for Kirk and TJ Hawkinson to get a little bit more chemistry going at the tight end position. Dalvin Cook's managed to stay healthy so far. It's looking like a Vikings game.
No, for sure. And Hawkinson was the pick, in my opinion, the trade that set it up. I said Kirk Cousins gets another weapon. The North is secure, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm glad we're in agreement. Next game we got here, semi-dumpster fire match, but I mean it's just a match in the AFC North. We got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm definitely going with the Steelers. I told you lock your doors at night if Pittsburgh in town. TJ Watt back. The Steelers all day. The North is open, but for anybody but the Bengals. The Bengals are gonna bangle. They'll find some way to lose this game as tradition. Frank, who you got going into this one?
I do have the Bengals in this game. The last time the Bengals and the Steelers met, Minka was actually out there. Joe Cool threw 4 picks in that game, but Minka Fitzpatrick's out now. So TJ Watt's probably going to get about 3 sacks this game, but I'm still going Joe Cool and the Bengals. I haven't heard anything about Jamar Chase if he's coming back yet. There was the speculation after the bye that he could be back, but that's still Joe Mixon and Higgins and Boyd and a lot of pieces they're going to have to cover with nothing at corner for Pittsburgh. They're going to have to put just all the pressure on Joe Cool, and if they can't,
well, luckily
it's a
that's an
Bengals
easy
game.
task because the Bengals,
Yeah.
the Bengals is going to bingle at the offensive line like they usually do. We'll see, Mr. KC, who you got going in this one?
Yeah, I'm actually going with Frank because the Cincinnati Bengals are the better team. What are we talking about here? The Steelers? I thought you were done with this.
I thought it was too till last week.
You could not point to anything that's saying the Steelers in this game.
They
But
beat them
Frank made
already.
more points than he needed to. This is simple. Cincinnati's better than the Steelers. Game over. This. Put your money on Cincinnati, folks. This is not a matchup.
Lest we forget that the Steelers had already stole a win. Are we forgetting that?
Yeah. Let them steal this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let them steal this one. No, I'm with you. No, I'm still going with them steals, but let them steal this one. Let the Bengals bingle. I'm all for it. The newly minted Sunday night primetime game of the week, because we're always must-see TV. We have the perennial Super Bowl favorites, the Kansas City Chiefs, versus the LA Chargers in LA, which I like to call Arrowhead West. Mr. KC from the 813, who do you got going into this one?
Well, folks, this could be a tough matchup, but it's actually not going to be. I'm going to go Chiefs by 14. Pat Mahomes is a bad man, and Justin Herbert is on a banged-up team. Justin Herbert's had kind of an off year, but it's really not fair to judge. He's got C-list talent around him at wide receiver. Maybe Keenan Allen's coming back this week. I'm not worried about it. Trent McDuffie's back for the Chiefs. Hasn't allowed a reception all season. Keep your eyes on that young man. I like the talent on defense for the Chiefs. I think the linebacking core is really starting to come together. And we're homers, so you're never going to hear me pick anything but Chiefs. But I'm really interested to hear the rest of the picks.
No, I got you. We're going to go right to my man, Frank. Who do you got going into this one?
I definitely got to go Chiefs in this game. I mean, that team is just – Patrick Mahomes can keep you in any game on his own. That and Kelsey is just, it's phenomenal offense. I just can't see the Chargers, like you were saying. It's just a banged-up team around Justin Herbert. It's him and Eckler, and that's pretty much it. Even if Keenan Allen's there, snap one could just be hamstring injury, done, like whatever. Same with Mike Williams. They could go out there pregame, have nobody touch them, and be out for the year. Like it's just so easy to see that. It's got to be a Chiefs game. It's got to be.
Frank didn't do nothing but tell the truth, y'all. Jesse, you're right. Mahomes is winning that. It's over. I'm definitely going with KC, if not by 17 points. Thing you touched on here, Mr. KC, not the linebacking core in my mind, but the defensive line minus Frank Clark, in my opinion, has looked the best that it's looked all year. The pressure is actually adequate, and they're actually getting the quarterback on the ground. I can't say enough about my boy Carlos Dunlap coming in, him and Chris Jones, I swear. And Kalen Saunders, bro, they have been relentless, dude. Relentless these last few weeks. 13 sacks over the last few weeks, I think. Over the last 3 games or something like that, dude. It's incredible.
Really starting to come together.
No, gelling at the right time. Like you said, we got McDuffie back. It's a homer pick. I'm going with the man. There's no question about it in this game.
We have a Niners fan, so it's verified that it's the Chiefs this week.
It's
for
a
sure,
game.
right?
It's a Chiefs game. It should be. It could be a trap game for you guys. I could see that happening.
Right.
Somehow Chargers coming out and playing ball, but it's that team's starting to come together on defense, even for the Chiefs, and that offense is too much to stop.
And this is without Tyreek, folks. Still 30 points a game, and they said we couldn't do it. Wasn't even gonna make the playoffs in some circles. Crazy.
Well, now you have Tony, who I think is just gonna be the guy.
Yeah, looking like it.
That's nothing to play with.
Monster.
I wasn't expecting to see him get any wide receiver snaps yet, and he has, and he looks like he should.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
And you can tell that he's excited and he's ready to be here. He's ear to ear grins every time you see him. When you're playing with the best,
Yeah.
I'd probably smile as hard as I could every day too. Well, you
Yeah.
know what I mean,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Last game we got on the slate here, a Monday night game. And we got my boy Frank's team, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Arizona Cardinals. And gentlemen, this is a 49er game if I've ever seen it. The Cardinals don't nearly have enough. They don't nearly do enough to win this game. And I'm talking effort on both sides of the ball. I said a couple weeks ago, the McCaffrey pick for you guys was going to be instrumental in how they moved in the rest of the season. And I'm pretty sure they're probably going to blow the doors off of most of these teams going forward, starting with Arizona this week. Anyway, Garoppolo, Debo, Christian, it's over. Who you got, Mr. KC? I'm going to go ahead and defer to you on this one.
Well, Frank doesn't know this, but I've been a closet Cardinals fan all season. Until a few weeks ago when I decided to also quit following the Cardinals. And I'm going to stick with that advice and go with the 49ers here. The 49ers have a much better team all around. If you look at their defense, it's probably one of the best in the league. And then on offense, with Christian McCaffrey, you're starting to really come around. And like the dude said, CMC's a big pickup. You had that kind of running back, that kind of talent for a team that uses running backs. It's a good combination.
Great combination, dude. Frank, I think we know where you're going, but tell us why, my man. What we doing?
Yeah, we're definitely going 49ers in this game. Sounds like Kyler Murray's not even going to be playing. So without Kyler Murray, that's game over. I mean,
I don't know if
like
that
we were
makes a
saying,
difference.
there's well, that's one thing I'll point out here as a Niner fan watching them play any mobile quarterback. That is their true weakness. Is if you have a mobile quarterback. I mean, we have the great D line, everything with Nick Bosa out there, who I think has many sacks as the rest of the division does as a team. So we are talking a great defensive line here and a great defensive player. But once they get a mobile quarterback out there, it's hard to keep up. But I can't see the Cardinals winning this game, especially if it's Colt McCoy back there. And playing in Mexico City, it just seems it's 49ers all day. You know, every level of that defense is monstrous. We have Jimmy Ward back. You have Ward, who we got from you guys,
right?
Who has just been showing out as one of the better corners in the league.
Locked down. He's good.
He's locked down. We got Fred Warner in the middle. Like it was a lot of players came back last week too for the 49ers, which was really nice after the bye week, getting Trent Williams back, getting Elijah Mitchell back, getting a lot of guys back that really changed how that whole team works. So it's Niners all day.
No, I'm there with you because the way it's shaking out, I'm looking at either San Fran, the Vikings, or somehow, like I said, they give Brady his final bow, like I said, to pass the torch in the Super Bowl. But you guys are primed for Super Bowl run, in my opinion. I don't see any other teams in the NFC who could take you guys out unless it's one of the two I mentioned, and that would be a slobber knocker, like my boy JR used to say. Dude, yeah, I'm right there with you. Stellar picks this week, dude. We had a couple of trifectas, which is kind of shocking here, but it's good to see, like, we're seeing the NFL shake the same way. So we're all on the same page pretty much. So I can't deny that. I don't think I missed anything else on there. We can move on into the Bowl 7. And I've been waiting all week to hear what you had on your Bowl 7, Mr. KC, because if you can remember, folks, the Bills wasn't on my Bowl 7 last week. So if you're watching looking for Buffalo this week, you might as well go ahead and stop tuning in now because they're not going to be here this week on my end. But for the folks' sake, Mr. KC, I'll go ahead and let you start us off, man. What is your Bowl 7 for the week?
It's gotten a little funky. It's got a little spiced up. It's gone changed around. This last 2 weeks of football has really kind of jumbled it up for us. It was starting to get a little stale. It looked like it was just going to be the same teams. So this is a different list this week. First off is the Kansas City Chiefs. No question about it. Homer pick. Homer takes. They first place in my heart and first place on this list. They'll still be there until they're losing. Give me a reason why. Number 2 is the Miami Dolphins. Rookie, get out of the way, folks. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Tua, an okay-ish defense. Look, they are first place in the AFC East. Give these people the respect they deserve. Number 3, give me the Philadelphia Eagles. You had an off night. I understand it. You had to slide from 1. You can't lose to the Commanders and stay at 1. I won't allow it. I only dropped you to 3. It's okay. Number 4, the Kings of the North, Minnesota Vikings. Look, you coming out here falling on the Bills like that? Get out of here. You deserve it. Give it to me. Number 5, I'm going to go with the Bills. Look, I know they've fallen off in a lot of people's eyes. This is still a real quality team. 3 weeks ago, this number 1 team in the football league. And now, a lot of questions, but they're sliding. But I don't think they're off my list. Okay, they're not there yet. Then we can go number 6 with the New York Giants. This quality New York Giants team doesn't make any sense how the NFC East teams. And number 7, I'm going to give it to the 49ers for our special guest, Frank. Look, not only do we have a 49ers fan on here and they're making the list, they actually deserve to be mentioned in the top 7. This is one of those floating spots that can change every week, but they've shown in and out that this is a tough defense. They're going to win the West unless the Seahawks mess it up somehow, which I don't really see. But this is a team you always have to watch out in the playoffs, and I'm excited to see them.
Man, oh man, you and these Buffalo Bills. Ooh, okay. Let me just dive right on there, folks. They're not that good either. So the number 1 team in the NFL, folks, are the Kansas City Chiefs. There's just no doubt about it. They got the most quality wins. Looking at the schedule, they're leading the league in scoring. With a virtual new cast on almost offense and defense, they're still running the league, and it's almost scary to see what this team will look like almost 2 years down the road if everything stays the same. Number 2, I have the Minnesota Vikings, the Kings in the North. They are the best team in the NFC. Yes, number 2, the best team. They're 8-1, Mr. KC.
They're the second best team in the NFC behind the 49ers.
He's got the second best team overall.
Hey, we'll have to see. We'll have to see on that one. Number 3 here, I got excuse me. I got the Miami Dolphins. I actually did put them in the top 3 this week. I feel like they actually finally earned their way up there. By part thanks to the Commanders and the Jets helping them get that boost to get there, but they're there. Number 3, can't argue with it. Number 4 right now, I actually have the Baltimore Ravens. This is a team who wasn't even on my list last week, but like I said, Lamar is turning into form, man. They've quietly gotten back to 6-3. They're looking good. I think they keep this train rolling. What was that one? That was number 3. Number 4, I've got the New York Giants. Just speed past them real quick. New York football's back. I've been telling you, I'm not going to keep telling folks. It's just what it is. Despite the loss, number 6 I got here is the Dallas Cowboys. I believe that they're going to keep rallying. They're going to make their case to be a wild card spot here, unless the Eagles can keep losing. Because, like I said, I got Dallas losing this weekend, but if they don't lose too many more, they can sneak out and win that division. I can't say too much more about that. Number 6, I actually have the San Francisco 49ers. Like I said, the trade that they made for McCaffrey, really turned their offense not around, but it turned it up, so to speak. Because it was always feasible on the ground. Like I said, I thought our game with them was going to be closer than what it was. But like I said, true Kansas City Chiefs fast. We just did what we had to do. No offense on that yet. And the 7th best team that I have in the NFL right now is definitely not the Buffalo Bills. It's the New York Jets. New York football is back, and it's going to stay back. I don't have reasons to move the Jets out of the top 7. have every reason to drop the Bills. They lost what? They're almost on a 3-game lose streak. How did
the Jets are above them in the division, so I guess
they already, like I said, they're 0-2 in their own division. Like I said, there's just no way I could put them above any of the other teams in their division that they've already lost to. It would be unkosher for me to do so. Frank, my man, do you have a particular list of who you think are the top 7 teams in football right now? And if you do,
yeah, I wrote up a top 7 for this week.
Yes, sir.
Definitely going number 1, Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes just changes any team completely, makes you the number 1. If that defense starts gelling like we're starting to see, like we were saying, Frank Clark and everything showing up on the D-line, it's Kansas City is number 1. I'm going Minnesota number 2. After that Buffalo win, it's really hard not to see them. They're playing ball. They're doing well. Kirk's starting to show up a little bit. They'll probably lose game 1 in the playoffs because he blows in prime time.
Hopefully they get that bye week
right now. Yeah, we're talking about right now. And Minnesota's number 2. I have Philadelphia number 3. Losing to the Commanders is big, but that's a trap game. And we've already seen Commanders beat an undefeated team and change up the whole team's season. Still go Philly, though. That defense is still too stacked. They did sign, what's his name, Linval Joseph for defensive tackle. He's joining their team now. I don't know if they have Fletcher Cox anymore, if he retired or not, but he's always been a monster if he's still there at D-tackle.
For
sure. So that's 2 great defensive tackles there. That offense, I think they just struggled this week. I mean, somehow the Commanders held A.J. Brown to a catch. I don't see that happening much more. I'm going to go with Miami at 4. Just that offense is showing out. Former 49er coach as their head coach now, which is there's one thing the Niners coaching staff's always been good at. It is scheming for what you have on offense. Shanahan's done it. They can play ball. So I got Miami at 4. I do have to put my San Francisco 49ers at 5. I think there was a couple real bad losses at the beginning of the year that shouldn't have been. I see them at 5. There's too much talent on both sides of that ball, like especially adding McCaffrey. You know, we're looking at a Debo and Ayuk as your 1 and 2. You have Kittle at tight end and a 2-headed monster now with McCaffrey and Mitchell at halfback.
Right. And you know what's crazy? Kittle's almost become the unsung hero of the offense, dude. Behind all the other guys they got going now, man. It's crazy to see how loaded they really are.
Yeah. I mean, Kittle is arguably one of the best pass-catching tight ends in the NFL, and they don't even use him like that. He is an O-lineman that can run around, and that's what makes him a lot of fun to watch, in my opinion, one of my favorite players on the team. Him and Fred Warner is my favorite player on the defensive side of that ball. Yeah. That boy is everywhere. I do have Buffalo at number 6. We're looking at Buffalo as a totally different team if there's not that fumble in their own goal line. You know, we're looking at them. Vikings are now, 7-2 versus 8-1 and everything. So I'm still going Buffalo.
He didn't catch that ball on the sideline now. So that was a missed call. There was a lot of things in that. So, yeah.
I'm still going Buffalo. I'm still going Buffalo in this, or with number 6, because there's a lot of talent there. Josh Allen can keep you in any game by himself, really. I mean, this last couple weeks he's been pushing too hard, throwing too many picks. But I'm still going Buffalo at my number 6 spot. And at my number 7, I'm going to go with the team that gave you guys some trouble. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. I think there is a great team there, great defensive line. They are one A.J. Brown-esque wide receiver away from being a great team. Too bad they can't get a guy like that. Too bad. But I'm going Tennessee as my number 7. I'm a little curious about the Tannehill versus Malik Willis thing. Tannehill played good enough ball, but Malik kind of changes that whole offense.
He does.
But that defense for Tennessee has kind of become a great defense no one's talking about enough. You know, they're playing great.
Right. No, I mean, they play great. Not to mention, they get a lot of hold calls that don't get called here. I've seen a couple of articles about that. But when you're a smash mouth kind of identity team, we've seen in history that the reps tend to let you get away with more things, i.e. Baltimore, some of those old Pittsburghs, even the Saints defense one time, before the scandal. So we kind of see it happen, but no, I'm right there with you, dude. That defense is stellar, dude. They're solid.
Yeah, I think they're showing out, and Tennessee. It always just depends on what their if they can keep their game plan going. If it goes down to Ryan Tannehill and you got to pass the rock, But if you can keep feeding King Henry, you got yourself a win.
No, for sure.
That is a man playing with boys sometimes.
Oh my God, no! It's always like the dad playing football with the kids in the backyard. It's a tragedy, dude. You've never seen a grown man trash so many other grown men before. Like it's spectacular to watch, honestly.
Yeah. So that's my 7 for sure.
No, that's a solid 7. That's a solid 7. I would have slid the Bills off that list personally, but it's a solid list.
Sliding them on the list. You're the only one. They stay on the list.
Man. Hey, if they keep sliding down the real list, they're gonna keep sliding down the realist list. Now,
right. They're on a slippery slope. I do agree. But they do deserve to be in the top 7. I understand it's been rough for them, but they're not that bad. It's still a team you worry about playing.
So after this weekend, pending results, we'll see what happens right here next week, folks.
Yeah.
When it comes to these Bills in this list, man, because like I said, but maybe I'm just being biased. Like I said, beginning of the year, if you guys remember, I didn't even pick them to make the playoffs. I didn't think the Bills were even going to make it. So we'll see. I'm hoping the fall off continues.
Yeah. I mean, if the Bills lose to the Browns this week, they definitely slide off the top 7. Like, you can't lose to the Browns and be in the top 7. You can't lose 3 in a row and be – no, that's –
Jets,
the problem with that is,
Browns.
The problem with that is, Frank, is he knew it 2 weeks ago, so I don't want to give him the credit.
Give him that credit.
He was like, hey, it's time for them to go, and then we're watching them leave. Like, he was like, hey, I told it was
it's time to get
on the first. Like, what do you I knew when they didn't have it on the first that they weren't gonna
wasn't gonna have it on the third, huh?
Right.
No, folks. Everybody who's tuned into the live stream thus far, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate all the comments. We appreciate y'all even watching, keeping us humble. Because like I said, if y'all didn't come watch, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here. Before we get out of here, gentlemen, is there anything you want to say? Any comments, any shout outs you want to give? What we got here?
If it's cool, I'd like to plug the podcast real quick. I'm from the Cinema Store podcast on YouTube.
On the ticker, folks. On the ticker at the bottom,
right
too.
there. Last week was our baseball movie episode. We did an episode for the World Series since it was going on. This week, we're going to be dropping our Wakanda Forever episode on Friday. So come check us out at the Cinema Store podcast on YouTube, every other place you can listen. And appreciate you guys having me on too.
Make sure y'all tune in. Oh, Frank, hopefully we have you again soon. Make sure y'all tune in. That Wakanda Forever sounds like it's gonna be lit. I'm gonna definitely tune into that. Mr. KC, my man.
Yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to our guest Frank. He did an excellent job. It was very entertaining to have him on here, especially a 49ers fan. You never know how that's going to go down, especially with our history or whatnot. But, it was a couple years ago. We've all moved past it. And I want to give a special shout out to his podcast. I've been fortunate enough to catch a few episodes, and especially this last one on baseball. If you're a sports fan, it's a much watch episode. At least give them that one to check it out, and then you're going to see other categories you like the Wakanda Forever and whatnot. So don't be afraid to branch out and check them out. And thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
And folks, they couldn't have said it much better. Like I say every week, I can get to rambling. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. Y'all don't have to be here. Y'all don't have to spend your Wednesday night with us. You don't have to tune in, but you choose to do so. So we're honored. We're humbled that you're here, and we'll keep being here as long as y'all want us here. Big shout out to the Cinema Store, man. Big shout out to it slipped my mind. Razor's Edge. We got a couple of other people coming up soon here that we give them big shout outs to. Other than that, folk, this has been it. This is week 11 of the NFL. We'll see you on Saturday for some basketball coverage and everything, some live King of the Hill moments. We're going to have a good time for sure. That's without a doubt. I'm that dude with the beard. That's my man, Frank. He's Mr. KC from the 813, and we thank y'all once again for tuning in. Peace.
You either be bold with your predictions or don't say nothing at all. Let's talk some football.